and we've been working with Go Jauntly on this project in terms of just trying to get more walks than in Bristol, but also just open up the opportunities for people to hopefully be able to access walks from their phone, not just for now during this sort of time of COVID when we're sort of more restricted in terms of meeting in groups, but also just as a way of getting people then to explore the local areas a bit more and just find out a more range of just different things and just different opportunities within the area to go out and walk and explore. So this session today will just be focused around with Claude around getting more showing you how to use the app and some of the functionalities and so on of it. And then this sort of wider project will be around just getting as many walks put onto the platform as possible. And we'll be doing work then over the next few months in terms of actually just trying to expand the range of walks then that are available on the platform. Just a few bits of housekeeping. If everyone could just keep their mics, keep your mics on mute then during the session, so it flows. There'll be an opportunity for questions following Claude's presentation. We'll also be recording the session, so if anybody has any issues with being recorded, particularly if then you have to ask a question at the end, feel free to turn your cameras off if you have any issues in terms of being recorded. And so following this, as I say, we're just trying to get as many walks onto the platform as possible. If there's any particular issues for any of the groups or individuals who you have walked, you're not quite sure even after the session how to use the Go Jauntly, please feel free to get in contact with myself. I'll put my email address in the chat. We also have travel advisors that we can book in to come out and help. So if you have groups and you actually want to then get some walks plotted, please let us know, and then we can try and assist. Then myself and my travel advisors could come and assist you in terms of getting that done. And just make the most of the app. I'll pass over to Karen from who's heading Bristol Walkfest.
Yeah, hello, good morning, everybody. I'm absolutely delighted to be able to join Darron in welcoming you this morning to today's webinar. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Karen Lloyd, and I'm the Active Ageing Bristol Programme Manager, hosted by Age UK Bristol. As Darren's indicated, I'm just going to make reference to Bristol Walkfest. Since 2018, Active Ageing Bristol has been responsible for coordinating Bristol Walkfest. Now one of the largest urban walking festivals in the country, Walkfest 2019 was a massive success, with 71 different local organisations collectively hosting 257 walks and events throughout May, attracting more than 7,800 people. Unfortunately, last year's event had to be cancelled due to COVID-19, but this year's Walkfest will run between Saturday, the 1st of May to Monday, the 31st, and it'll be a great opportunity to highlight and publicise all the fantastic walking opportunities and groups there are in Bristol, encouraging people to walk more often. This webinar gives me the opportunity to introduce Jeff Charters to everybody. Jeff is on the call. Joff, do you want to just give us a bit of a wave? Yeah, so Joff is from Good Miles CIC, but has been engaged this year as the Bristol Walkfest events manager. So we're delighted to have him on board, and I'm already enjoying working with him on the planning. So this year, due to COVID-19 restrictions, we're anticipating the festival will need to embrace a more virtual format, signposting people to existing walks, walking related activity providers and online events. So one very exciting development for this year for us is the Go Jauntly walking app. And this will be used as a virtual home for Walkfest 2021. So by listing the events and walks taking place on the app, our intention is to bring together a host of walks from communities, organisations and individuals across Bristol, as the platform can be used by anyone to create a walk. The walks can then be separated into categories and themes, such as history, family friendly, wheelchair friendly, short walks, and so on. So we're hoping for a real mix that can be enjoyed by everybody. So in order to learn more about the app, I'm now going to hand over to Claudette from Go Jauntly, who's going to introduce herself and the app, and then run through a bit of a demonstration with us of all its various functions. And then that will be followed by a Q&A session when you'll get a chance to ask any questions or queries that the demonstration arises. Okay, so Claude, over to you.
Thanks, Karen. That was very thorough and getting us all very excited about the Walkfest as well. Thanks for everyone again for coming. I'm Claudette, or Claude is fine, and I'm the Community and Sales Manager at Go Jauntly. Just a little bit of information about the app before I go through the demo. It is a free app, and it's a mixture of walking, wayfinding and nature connection. We started the app a few years ago, basically because our co-founders, one of which Hannah is on the call now, basically we all lived in the city and we were getting quite fed up of looking for walks and kind of trying to find some local to us, which kind of seemed much harder than it should have been. And also the walks that we did find were mainly map based, and we found that maps aren't accessible to everybody. Some people can't read them, and some people don't get enough inspiration from looking at maps alone. So we created a photo-led app, which is supported by a map so that you obviously can know where you are all the time. Basically to inspire people to get up and get out of their houses and enjoy either their local area, which obviously we're restricted to at the moment, but in normal times, you know, beyond that, being able to see photos before you actually, you know, decide to go on a walk, we've found makes a big difference to getting people outside. Whereas if you just have a map, you can't, like I've said already, some people can't read maps and you can't necessarily see all the lovely features that you're going to experience on the way. We also started the app to help people's mental health, again, because we found that going outside, connecting with our local surroundings and environment made a big difference to us. And we've since worked heavily with the University of Derby, which I'll talk a bit about later, on some of our green prescription features to make sure that we're doing as much as we can to try and support people to get more connected with nature and get all of the great benefits of doing so. And obviously walking is great for our physical health, and that also boosts our mental health, which is excellent. So we're really excited about getting all these Bristol walks on the app. We're really gutted that we can't at the moment come and help make lots of them, but we hope to be able to visit when restrictions ease up soon. Just to note that Hannah, our CEO and co-founder, is on the chat. So if you have any questions during the app demonstration, which I'm going to start shortly, anything that, you know, pops into your head, just go into the chat and Hannah will answer them, as best she can. She also might be able to put in some links to some of the features that I'm going to go through, so that you can read up about them in a bit more detail, if you so wish. I'm just going to switch to my phone sharing now, so just bear with me a second. Hopefully this works. Can somebody just give me a nod if you can see my phone? Oh, brilliant, marvelous. Yeah. Okay, so hopefully you've had a chance to download the app. If you haven't, then this will hopefully talk you through everything that you need. I should flag that I am on an iPhone. And there are a few differences at the moment between Android and iOS or iPhone and iPad users, which I will flag as I'm going through the demo. But we are bringing all of the features that we currently have on iPhone to Android by spring this year. So by the time that Walkfest launches and these walks are getting uploaded, we should have the same amount of features on Android, which is fab. We're really happy to bring them to Bristol first, basically. So when you first open the app, this is what you'll be met with. This is our collection page, and it gives you an overview of different walks that you can go on, or soon in the future. At the moment, we're prioritising walks near you for obvious reasons. The routes for Claude, I'll come back to, that's one of our newest features. And then you've got the best walks around. That's part of a premium subscription. So as I mentioned, the app is free. We have over 1,000 walks in the app at the moment, which are free to use for everybody who downloads the app, but we do have an optional premium subscription for some of these features, which we need to subsidize, and therefore they're behind a paywall. They are beautiful walks in this country and elsewhere, which you can have a look through. There's virtual tours at the moment, because we all need a little bit of a change of scenery from the safety of our own home. There's daily exercise at the moment, which are walks under an hour within the restriction limits, and so on. These change on a monthly basis, and they are targeted to your location. So I'm in London at the moment, and you can see that there are 2 collections here which are London based, which you in Bristol wouldn't be able to see for obvious reasons. So as long as you've enabled the app to see your location, you'll get the most out of it. And that's particularly important when you are creating a walk, which I'll come back to later. So these, if I just go into this one, for example, this is a partnership we did with the London Wildlife Trust. If you have a look through the walks, what you'll see first when you click on one is this kind of overview. So it gives you a title, it tells you who's made the walk, it gives you a duration or rough duration, because people walk differently obviously, and the distance, and then it gives you a bit of information about the walk itself. And then you can see there are kind of 6 little symbols at the bottom which are walk attributes, which just quickly highlight what you can access on this walk. So in this case, it's wildlife, there is parking available, it's a dog friendly walk, it's a family friendly walk, it has a water feature along the way, and it has access to public transport. And then you can go through the walk. So this is a partnership page to just tell you it's brought to you in partnership with this particular organisation, but our Bristol walks will have the Bristol information in them instead. And then as you go through the walk, it will provide information through pictures and text on instructions, so literally like how you get to walk, or where you start, or where you turn left or right, etc. But it will also flag things to notice along the way. So this is at the start of the walk, so you can see it saying take this right hand track, etc. But it'll also pick out other bits of information, like looking at this way marker, looking at this gorgeous oak tree, etc. In the bottom left hand corner, you can hopefully see there's a little location pin. If you click on that at any point, it will show you the map which supports all of the walks, and you can zoom in or out to check that you're in the right place. So you can see this one here is clearly following this footpath around this part of the Great Northwood. And then you can also, in the top hand corner, you can change that to a satellite view, if that's helpful for you as well. In the bottom right hand corner, there are 3 little dots. If you pay for our optional premium subscription, you can download the trail, which will save your data costs. It's important to mention that all of the Bristol walks as part of this partnership will be free to download, so you don't have to sign up to the premium subscription in order to download the Bristol walks as part of this partnership, which we're super happy to support. So this will help with people's data costs. It'll also help with just making sure that you feel comfortable having the route on your phone if, for example, your phone loses connection for a while you're out and about. You can save the walk. I'll save that one and I'll show you where that goes in a minute. You can share it. So currently this phone isn't actually connected to many people, or Hannah, my boss, who's on this call, or my partner Nick, or you could copy the link to this URL and you could send it on email to a friend, or connect it to your social feeds, etc. And you can also report feedback. So if you have done part of a route or all of a route and there's a problem that's arisen, maybe it's particularly like muddy and quite dangerous at this time of year, and that hasn't been flagged in the walk, then we're getting a few bits of feedback like that at the moment, for example, and then we can go into the walk and edit it quickly just to add that extra information, and that comes directly to us. So that's how the collection and the walks work overall. Like I said, these collections change on a monthly basis. And as part of this Bristol partnership, Bristol Walks will have its own collection, which will appear to Bristol users and the local area at the top. And that will be updated throughout the year. And we're looking at providing another special collection for the Walk Fest as well in May, as mentioned by Karen. So that's an overview of the collections when you go into the app. The next feature I want you to show you is the search feature. So on my phone, you can see that hopefully there's a search bar at the top. If I have a look on there, I can either type by name. Let's have a look at Salford, for example. On my phone, I can search by places, but I can also click this tab and look by walk names, because sometimes that might be helpful if you're looking, I don't know, in West Bristol or Clifton or wherever it might be. Somebody might have named a walk with the location in mind. If I then click on the area that I've chosen, it will show me some walks in that area by list view, or if I prefer, I could click on map view and I can zoom in and zoom out as necessary. I don't know, let's say I'm going to be quite local to here. I could click on that walk. It gives me an overview of the route, or I can click on the name of the walk itself, excuse me, and it takes me to the walk. I can also filter these walks as well. So if I have certain needs, for example, I don't like walks more than, let's say, 10 kilometres. Oh, sorry, not that's the search radius. Although actually that's kind of relevant at the moment as well, because we need to stay hyperlocal. Let's say I'll keep that to 10 kilometres. I don't want to walk more than, I don't know, let's say 3 hours. And I need some walks which are child friendly. You can click as many of these that apply to your particular needs or things that you just are looking for that day. Maybe you want some great views, or you fancy challenging yourself with some exercise. You might choose the hilly and steep one, or the water feature, or whatever it might be. Let's click that one as well. Apply the filtering. There aren't any in Salford because Salford isn't that hilly. So if I took that one off and I chose a water feature instead, it would bring up the list that is relevant to my needs and requirements on that particular day or whatever I'm looking for. So that's the search function. The next thing I'm going to show you is our green routes for you. So this is our one of our newest features, and this was a direct response to the pandemic last year, and it was made possible by a grant we secured from Innovate UK. So this is currently just on iOS, but like I said, it's coming to Android in spring this year, so not too long to wait, and that's been made possible by some funding we secured from Sport England and the National Lottery. So if I head into routes for Claude, this is totally personalised to you. So if you have iOS currently, then you would find that you have a personalised set of walking routes that are from your doorstep or wherever you happen to be right now, as long as you've shared your location with us. And these are basically tailored to take you through nearby nature, depending on the time and the distance that you have to walk. So they're perfectly acceptable for, say, if you've got 25 minutes. And I've got 25 minutes during my lunchtime and I need to get out, need to get a bit of headspace, and I want to try and, prioritise greener routes. This takes me from my doorstep on a circular route, so obviously I can come back home, and it will prioritise streets that have more tree canopy and that are leafier in general. It will avoid main roads because they tend to be more polluted and not as supportive for your mental health. And it will also prioritise green spaces if you live close to them, and also if you're, if you've selected a distance or duration long enough that it could take you to in that time. You can also, I just head back here, you can also see that they range in time and duration, but you can also create your own. So if I wasn't happy with any of the ones that it suggested, I can head down to the walking map, and if I click on circular at the bottom, I can increase or decrease these kilometres, and the algorithm that we have created will essentially keep creating routes for you depending on the information that you put in here. So they're great for, like I said, a daily sanity walk at lunchtime, for going to your local shop for essentials, or obviously schools are opening in a couple of weeks now, so perfect for the school run as well. On that note, there's a circular option, but there's also an A to B option. So this is brilliant for things like the school run, nursery run, local shops, commuting when that's back up and running again. So you can either use the search bar at the bottom to type in a place, or let's say, you know, when I'm allowed to meet a friend outside for I don't know, a coffee on a bench in a few weeks' time. Let's say I'm going to meet them in the Olympic Park. I can click down here. I can select walk to here. And what the algorithm will do is provide me with 1, 2, sometimes 3 different routes for getting there, which are green. So again, using our algorithm to pull in data sets on greener, leafier streets, peaceful streets, avoiding main roads. You probably will have to cross a main road at some point if you live near one, but it won't take you a long one for you know, too much time. So that would take me 42 minutes. I could click on the other option on the map, it takes me 42 minutes as well. Or I can also compare it with the fast route. The fast route would be the same one provided by other mapping services, of which I won't mention because they're obviously massively inferior to ours. So that one would be 37 minutes. So there's obviously not a massive difference there in the time it would take you. The difference would be that that one would be 5 minutes shorter, and it would take me on busier roads, which aren't as leafy, which aren't necessarily cutting me through nice little parks and green spaces along the way to get there. This is currently in beta mode, which means basically testing mode, because we are getting feedback from users about how good these routes are. So you can see there's a little thumb icon in the top left hand corner. If you click that, you can basically, as you're going along route, give us information about whether thumbs up or thumbs down for whatever reason that might be. Or you can click the 3 little dots in the bottom right hand corner, and you can share feedback again, like the main section of the app, to provide us with more information. So if it's taking you along like a main road for some reason, then give us information about that there, and so on. And again, if you have signed up to the optional premium subscription, you can download these routes. So you can download the trail to save on your data costs, or you can download GPX. GPX is basically a form of data which kind of pinpoints various places along the route. So if you're a runner or a cyclist and you want to use the route for that option instead of walking, then that would be perfect for you. There's loads more information about this on our website, and Hannah might put the link in the chat as well. So if you'd like to read more about these green routes and how they work, what data sets that we use at the moment to inform them and how that's changing, then please have a look at that one. Let me head back to the main collection page. The next feature I'm going to show you is our other green prescription feature, and this is called Nature Notes. Again, this is on iOS at the moment, but it's coming to Android very soon. And this came about via our work with the Nature Connectedness group at the University of Derby, and they've done a huge amount of research into how technology can support humans having a much deeper connection with nature than we do currently. So hopefully you can see from the navigation at the bottom, I have one called Notes. Oh, sorry. Here we go. So it's a chatbot style kind of nature diary, which prompts users to note everyday moments with nature, however small they might be. But essentially capturing happy moments in nature can bring real benefits to mental well-being. And it's really easy to do as well. So it's welcome me, it's recognized that I've come back, it's asking me if I remember what I need to do, which I do, and then will give me a little prompt or a nudge to remind me how small these things can be that will help us. So in this case, take a moment to admire a blade of grass, which I can actually see from my window that I'm at right now, and then add notes. So you can add notes with pictures, you can add just written notes, totally up to you. You can do it when you're out on a walk, you can do it from an outdoor space if you're lucky enough to have one, but crucially, you don't have to have an outdoor space to use this function, which was really important to us because 1 in 8 people in England, I think it is, don't have access to their own garden or outside space. And you can use this by looking out of your window and noticing the clouds or the trees or the birds or whatever it might be. So just to see some examples, there's some sparrows here enjoying a little bird bath the other week, some blue skies, which I was very shocked to see after having an incredibly grey January and start of February. There was some snowfall in East London, very rarely seen. Some pictures of my kids splashing around a little stream, which was a nice sensory experience, and so on. One of my favourite things about this is that it celebrates you when you do things. So if I say listening to the birds singing outside, and I post that, oh, look at these lovely flowers, and then I feel like some sort of nature hero. So it's a really nice feature, and it's basically clinically proven to improve the quality of life of people with a mental health difficulty. And that was through the study that the University of Derby did on this nature connectedness feature. We also found that if people noted down the good things they saw in nature for 1 week, so every day for 1 week, it brought about the same benefits as if you did it for 1 month. So it's a really small, easy feature to use, which significantly improves your mental health. Again, I've just run through that quickly, and there's loads more information about the research behind this, our work with the University of Derby, their work, etc., on the website. So Hannah's going to put a link to that in the chat, or again, you can find it quite easily on our website as well. The other good thing I just wanted to mention about this, which I love to do, is get my kids involved with taking the pictures. Now, obviously, the app is tailored for adults, and you have to have an iPhone and all that kind of stuff, you know, to use it. However, it's really easy to get children involved in this. Children generally know how to take pictures on phones, and you can work with them to do that. And you can talk to them about what you can see or how it makes them feel, or what they particularly notice, you know, like the colour of a flower or the shape of the clouds or whatever it might be. So it's a great thing to do with other people as well. Okay, so the main thing I'm going to talk you through now is how you create a walk, because I know lots of you on the call are going to be responsible for creating some absolutely beautiful walks in and around Bristol. There are a couple of minor differences between how you do this on Android and iOS, which I'll point out as we go through, but the differences aren't that major at all. So the first thing that's really important, which I've already mentioned, is that you enable the app to use your location. That's really important because the app is photo-based, but also is supported by a map. So when you go out and take pictures, when you're actually doing the walk, the pictures need to be linked to GPS, so we know their location, and that will help the app better create a route for you, essentially. So I'm going to show you a demo by pressing the create button at the bottom. If I head to walk, these are some pictures I took a while ago when there were more leaves on trees, but just to show you for this, we generally suggest that it's easier to take pictures while you're out and about on a walk, and then when you have a better connection to Wi-Fi at home, create the walk at home. You don't have to do that though. You can, some people find it easier to do it when they're outside. We just personally find that our Wi-Fi connections are generally more reliable than, say, our 4G or 5G networks. So that's what we tend to do. So have your pictures, you know, already in your phone, and then select them in the right order. If you don't have them in exactly the right order, it doesn't really matter, and I'll show you why in a sec. So you do that, and then the app will automatically put them in this order and generate a map. So if I click the location icon in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see, I just pan out, you can see that a map has been generated due to the GPS points from my photos. As you can see, well, you might be able to work out from there, they're not all perfect, and that's because GPS isn't always perfect, but you can edit them in the app, and I'll show you how to do that now. So this first part of the walk, you're probably going to want to point people to the right, giving them the right directions. So this is a wood that I'm very happy to live near. So enter. Oops. From the parking area. Okay, so this is very much directional, so it's important to give people clear instructions to make sure they know where they're going. I'm going to click the map again and zoom in to check that that's in the right place. So it's almost in the right place, but if I click change location, I can then pan that point around so it's in exactly the right place, and then hit save, and then people know much better where exactly they need to go. I can see already from the map that this next point is nowhere near in the right place due to the GPS. So again, I can change the location on that and drag it down onto the footpath where I need it to be. And then I can go back here and either add directions, or I can add other information about like the walk attributes. So in this case, I don't know, enjoy the oak tree canopy. I could say what birds can you see or hear? Any mushrooms, because this was in autumn when I took these pictures. Just to remind people to look out for nature and enjoy being in the moment on their walk. I could also keep saying keep to the path to remind them that they're going in the right direction. The next one is they need to turn right when you reach the lake, and so on. So you go through and you add all of the information you need to do. Some of them will be instructions about directions people need to take. Some of them might be that they've come across a beautiful part of nature, or I don't know, a commemorative plaque about something that happened in an area, and you might want to add more information about that. If you run out of character spaces here, what you can do is add text steps. So if I click add text step from here, it'll add a step after the one that I'm currently on. And here you have more space in terms of characters. So let's say I know, I don't know, more information about this forest, then I could write on the other step, I could add information here. So this forest has been here for, I'm making this up entirely, but let's say that's true, for 100 years. And I could add more information there about the history of it, or whatever I think might be relevant for people on this particular walk. Because I haven't taken a photo here, I need to add a location for that walk. So I'll go to map pin and I will just zoom in and I'll attach that to the same place as the other step, because that information is about that step in the walk. And save that. If you forget to do that, then when you come to the end of creating a walk and you're trying to publish it, the app won't let you, and it will remind you to go back and add a location here. So it's not a big deal if you forget to do it, because you'll get a prompt to do it anyway. So what you do is you go through and you add all of the steps, as I've said, change the directions. And one thing that's really important as well, as you're creating walks, is to try to stress ways to make them more inclusive. So I'm very fortunate in that I'm able-bodied and I have like a very minor short-sightedness, but otherwise I can get around easily and I don't have to think about a lot of things that might impede me on my walk. That's not the same for everyone, or I'm sure everyone else on this call. So it's really important to try and add information that will help other people. And the easiest way to do this is basically just say what you see. So it might be that you've had to duck under a low hanging branch. So mention that, you know, that as you're walking through this particular path on a green, you know, I don't know, through this forest in this case, or wherever else, mention that there are low hanging branches, because for somebody who's visually impaired, that's a big deal. Mention the surface of the paths. So I often have a buggy with me, so I'm quite aware of that, but sometimes I don't. And if you don't ever have wheels with you, then it might not be something that you're aware of. So again, just kind of say what you see and say what you experience. So if, I don't know, if this part here, you're obviously quite close to the water here, so take care next to the water. The path here is mostly smooth but uneven in places. I sometimes mention on my walks as well that I have a buggy with me, and it was manageable with a buggy, and then that kind of gives other people a bit of information about, you know, what they might be able to do as well. So it's really about just explaining the experience that you've had to try and make it as inclusive as possible for other people. So any kind of barriers you might see or be aware of while you're there. If while doing this walk I get interrupted and I need to, I don't know, go and make dinner or whatever it might be, if I click the top left-hand corner, you see there is a cross, and come out of it, I can save the walk for later and come back to it at a later date. If I want to do that, let's imagine I've just cooked dinner or dealt with a child trying to hit another one in my house. If I go to the more section, or if you're on Android, it's called My Walks, I believe, then you head here and you'll find some different information. So these are the walks that I have saved. So remember that I pressed star on that Great Northward walk earlier. That's now put into my area of the app. And these are some walks that I have starred, which I want to go on when I'm allowed to again. These are the walks that I have published. So these are all in the app for everyone to enjoy. And then this draft is now in here. If I want to go back to that, then I can click the edit, the little pencil button, and I can go into that walk and finish it off. So if at any point you lose a walk or you've got distracted and you've had to do something, you need to come back to it, that's where the drafts will be. So I'm going to pretend that I've finished all of the instructions on this walk, and they're all, I've checked all the locations, they're all in the right place, etc. What you'll next get to is this. So this is where you give your information, which is going to be the cover page for the Bristol walks that you're creating. So name your walk. Again, try and make it as helpful as possible. Sometimes the location is a good idea in here, or part of the location. This is a place called Wanstead Park. I don't know, I'm going to call it Wanstead Park Forest Wander. It gives people a bit of an idea about what they are going to enjoy on the walk. The location will be automatically populated, again, from GPS. I know that's fine. You might want to change it slightly, and you can just click on it and edit it to do so. The duration and the time will automatically be populated by the photos that you took. So the duration of the time between the photos. If you knew you walked particularly slowly or particularly quickly on that day, or you stopped when you're allowed to have a picnic, for example, you might want to change the duration. So the walks that I usually do take a bit longer because I've usually got 2 small children with me, and I know that maybe to somebody who is by themselves as an adult it would take less. So let's say I'll change that to an hour, click done. Where it says a stroll through Redbridge, again, that will just be automatically populated. We'd really stress for you to improve this. Again, to give people a bit more information about the walk, what the walk will entail, what people can look forward to on that particular walk. So I'm going to mention that this it has easy parking, a lovely forest stroll for families, and I don't know, and a beautiful spot by the lake or whatever it might be. And then at the bottom, this is where you can add those walk attributes that I showed you already. You can pick up to 6, so just pick the most relevant 6 that you think would be helpful to other people. So as I've mentioned, there was easy parking there. It's child friendly. There was a water feature. It has wildlife. I know it's dog friendly because people are allowed their dogs there. And there is a picnic spot there. And then they'll be populated at the bottom. At the bottom, you can see it says change cover photo. So all of the walks will have a cover photo, which by default is the first picture in your walk. That's not necessarily going to be the most beautiful or the most enticing, depending on the walk. In this case, I actually do think that picture is the nicest one, but let's say I wanted to change it to this one, then I can do that there. So you basically can change the picture to any of the photos that you've added, or you can add a different one. I keep showing you a picture of my partly naked child, which maybe isn't the best idea, but never mind. Okay, so after this section, again, I'm on iPhone. Oh, sorry, I've just remembered I haven't shown you one thing. Sorry, I'm just going to take you back. If you have more steps in this, which is likely because this is the 7-step walk and quite short, and you have realised that the steps are in the wrong order, or you need to add an extra one and you need to work out what that might be, it might take you a while to kind of pan through all these different steps. A much easier way to do it, if you're an iPhone, is to pinch in from the side of your screen, and it will take you to this kind of thumbnail or grid view. If you're on Android, then the way that you do that is that there'll be like 4 little squares in the top middle of your screen, and you click that and you'll get to the same view. And then when you're here, you can hold down any steps and drag them around to put them in the right place, or you can press the cross and delete them if you've like added a duplicate step somewhere, for example. And on this screen on an Android, there will be another where you can see there's a cross in the top right of every picture. On Android, there's like another little icon in the top left, and you click on that one and then you can rearrange them. So you can do the same thing, there's just a different little icon to do so. And then when you've done that, you can either zoom back in or you can click done to get you back there. So once I've done this, on iPhone, you can see there's the option to preview the walk in the top right-hand corner. This isn't on Android at the moment, but to be honest, I have iOS and I don't really use it. The reason being is because it will take you to preview and it will show you what the walk will look like in app. But if I then publish this walk, this will then become live in the app immediately. I can change this walk at any point by just editing it. So if I head back to, I'll just wait for this to upload. If I head back to any of my published walks, like this one here, so this is in the area I showed you earlier, I can edit any of these walks that I've already made. So whether it's that one I've just created or one that I did, I don't know, 2 years ago or whatever. So just by clicking the little edit button, I can go through and edit the walk. So if I find there's a mistake that I've made, or I needed to add a bit more information, whatever it might be, then you just go through the steps as you do from creating a walk to begin with. And you can do that there. So I'm going to delete that because it's not a good enough walk, and it was just to show you. So hopefully that's helpful in terms of how you create the walk. As I've already mentioned, all of the walks that we're going to be making and you guys are going to be helping to create as part of this project, you'll be able to download for free. So I think the way that we're going to do it is you guys are going to liaise with Karen or Darren, and then either you can email us personally or email those guys when you've created the walk, and we can make sure that it's available to download for free, and also that it's under the kind of like Bristol username as well. We're also going to be supporting the creation of extra special cultural and heritage tours. So some of the walks in Bristol are going to have even more interpretation features. We have a lovely walk at the moment on the app with this feature, which is this one, which you can have a look through in your own time, but I'll just quickly give you an idea. So this is a walk in Nettleham up in Lincolnshire, which has these enhanced features. So the local authority up there made this brilliant walk, and it's got audio features on it. So this one is for like, I think it's like 7 to 10-year-olds pretending they're secret agents and they have to go and collect information on this walk. So basically, if you press the play button, it will provide audio to listen to about, in this case, their secret agent information that they need to find out on this trail. So in terms of Bristol walks, for particularly like cultural or heritage tours in and around Bristol, there might be more information to add to the routes. So what we'll be doing for, I think, around 20 of the walks is adding extra interpretation in terms of audio, images and transcripts. So again, some of these are on the app already. Hannah might be able to link to some of them in the comments, or you can find them again via our website. So I'm going to stop sharing that now, come back. Hey, hopefully everyone saw that okay. I hope that was helpful. So I guess really from now, just before we head to the Q&A, is now's the time really to start creating the routes. If you have any questions at any point about how to use the app, if something I said wasn't clear enough, then I'm sure you've been asking Hannah questions anyway in the chat, but you can email us at any time via hi@gojauntly.com. So any questions or any issues, we're a really small team, but we do try to respond within like 24 to 48 hours, and we're always always happy to support any kind of walk creation support or any other issues that you're finding with the app. So yeah, start creating the walks when you can, and liaise with Karen and Darren to do so as well. If you have any other questions about Walkfest or need more details, then get in touch with Karen or Darren or Joff, and I'm sure they'll put their contact details in the comments as well. So that's me done. So if anyone has any questions that you haven't managed to ask in the chat already, then maybe put your hand up, or just take yourself off mute and start talking, and that would be great.
I can just stop by saying, just to reiterate, it is recorded, so we will send around the recording and all as well to everyone after. So if there's something that you missed or wasn't sure about something, you can relook at it following.
Yeah, great. I think we've got a question from Alan Morris that I can see.
Hi, yes, I did put this in the chat, but it hasn't been answered yet. So is there a way of getting updates on new developments for Go Jauntly and future plans? I can't see that there's an e-bulletin, for instance, on the website.
Yeah, so we do tend to put up big kind of app improvements and developments on the website, usually in the blog section. Otherwise, the best place to follow us for that kind of information is Twitter, where we update on a regular basis with even small updates. If there's a new update in the App Store, for example, or the Play Store, you'll usually find it on there.
Okay, and another question was, the Slow Ways initiative.
Yes.
I wonder whether there'll be a link up with that in some way.
Yeah, we know. Dan.
Sorry, it's Hannah here. I just thought maybe it would help if I cover some of these things off, because I've mentioned them in the chat. But hi, I'm Hannah from Go Jauntly. Sorry that one was missed, Alan. I apologise. But just to let you know, Slowway still needs to be audited or surveyed in person. So at the moment, we won't be integrating it until we know that they're walkable. But we've been working with Dan on and off for quite a long time, and we've chatted to him, Dan Raven-Ellison, who's the founder of Slowways. And once the routes have been audited and surveyed, then we'll be able to integrate them within our walking map. So yeah, definitely, all of that kind of data, super brilliant. We'd love to get it in the app.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, hi Ed.
There's rather a lot to take in. I'm struggling somewhat. I understand this is being recorded. How do we get a copy of this so we can go back through it at our leisure?
Yeah, that's a good question. It will probably be quite a large recording. So what I'll probably do is upload it to YouTube and then send that link around to all of the attendees. So that will probably be the easiest way to deal with quite a large file. But if you do look through the recording and you have any questions, then please just email us hi@gojauntly.com and we'll try and help you as best we can.
Thank you.
No worries. I think Kerry O'Neill has a question. Hi, Kerry.
Hi, yeah. I've got a question. Myself and my colleagues see different things when we log into the basic app. I get this, whereas she gets like, walks for Kira or walks near you.
Yeah,
but I don't get that. Is that because I'm on Android or?
Yeah, that's because you're on Android. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll be launching the Green Routes feature by 30th of April. And then we'll be launching Nature Notes on Android, hopefully by the end of May.
Hi there. I have a quick question. Sorry.
Hi, Sean.
Hi. The premium features I saw there, were they downloading routes, and there was another premium feature that I couldn't quite, well, basically, what are the premium features?
Sure. So the app's free to download and free to access, and it's really, really important that the app remains free because we don't want to create any new barriers to walking. But obviously we have to cover our costs and we've got families' mouths to feed. So very early on, we included an optional premium subscription, which is £1.99 a month or £19.9 a year. And that basically unlocks extra special curated tours that we've gone to extra special effort to create. The ability to download trails offline. So if you're in a low connectivity area, that's a really good thing to do at home. Or potentially if we're working with underserved communities, we want to make those walks available to be able to download offline so that you don't use your 3G, then that's also part of the package that we have with Bristol. But for those that can afford it, that's also available as part of the premium subscription. And then with our new green routes feature, we've included the ability to download GPS files. It sounds a bit techie, but basically if you're a really confident runner, walker, you might want to download the GPS and upload it to your Strava account or to your super fancy smartwatch, and that's the feature as well.
Yeah, the reason why I was asking that is that I wrote when I looked into this for the Skyline Walk, the Bristol South Skyline Walk, I was looking for a really nice, easy app to just hook into our routes with it was all the points of interest type of information that was really difficult, and most were behind sign up walls or paid subscription. So it's nice to find one that's actually free for the end user at the point of use. Really, that's really, really important. I'm glad you've said that that's a major feature, is to keep it free. And also a lot of these seem to struggle with too much content, it seems, as well, where curating the lists is one of the major problems with these. You get overwhelmed by choice.
Yeah, exactly.
And the quality of the routes is hugely variable. There's some people who want to just throw up any, walk around the garden almost, sort of routes.
We had a couple of those, but they've been hidden, don't worry.
Good. So yeah, I just want to say it looks like a really nice, well thought out app. At some point I was thinking of extending my Bristol South Skyline app because it's really frustrating for a park groups or things like that to actually have something really simple to plug into, and this is definitely an option there. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Sean. You made my day.
I think Sue Acton Campbell had a question. Susan?
No, it's been answered in email, but the question, but in case anybody else was wondering, it was about photos have to be loaded in portrait format. So I was asking, if you accidentally took a photo in landscape, could you choose which part of your photo was actually displayed? And the advice that came back was edit it separately on your phone into the proper portrait format.
Thank you. I think that's really helpful, Susan, and I didn't mention that, so thanks for mentioning it.
Yeah. I have one thing that I want to cover off, Claude, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it. I was just noticing there was one more question, but yeah.
Yeah, so I will try and answer that one in the chat. But the one that came up earlier on, which I think we should just quickly discuss, is around like getting the walks up for Walkfest and whether or not we want all of the apps available for Walkfest. So I think it would be really great if we could just hand over to Darren and Karen and just for you guys to just share like your ambitions for this as well, because it would be great coming from you guys just to reconfirm like the next kind of big action in time for May.
Aaron, you want me to take it? Yeah. Yes. So the plan is for Walkfest to be primarily virtual. Now, given the announcements, it seems like actually there might be some possibilities with actually having in-person walks. But the plan still is that we want to just try and get, because of limited numbers and so on, to try and get as many of the Walkfest walks onto the platform as possible, so that everyone can then enjoy through Walkfest. And so the hope then is for providers to actually get those walks plotted and onto the platform, and then we can then share it then as part of Walkfest. But the sort of main thing of Walkfest this year is it being virtual. But but with actually the addition of maybe some planned events and walks then, depending on the guidelines at the time.
I think that's all the questions covered. Unless anyone has any other questions, I'll hand over back to Claude.
Yeah, I think I can see Fraser has a question. Fraser.
Yeah, hi there. Hi. All looks very exciting. Thank you. I had a question around whether or not there can be sort of different levels of information presented to people. You know, if they just want like an overview, this is a bush or this is a pond, or whether they want to find out a bit more about, you know, pond life or specific pond life or a specific tree or whatever. Is there some way of structuring that?
Yes and no. So in terms of the walks themselves, like I said, if you are the person creating the walk, then you can add as much information, you know, as you can within the limits of the walk. So you can add, actually Hannah might be able to remind me of the number of steps, but you can add like around 40, or is it 60 now steps, I think?
It's yeah, it's 60 steps. But I think one of the important things to flag is if you know that you've got extra information about flora, fauna of the routes, maybe like the architecture, or maybe like amazing sites, or like the artists on street art walks, for example, if you could collate that and send that to us, we can upload that as like an additional information as part of the interpretation panel, because there are these really cool like additional features which Claude briefly touched on and we can send around later, but that includes like audio narration as well as transcripts, and then extra additional imagery, and it could be like images of what buildings look like before compared to now and stuff like that. So if you know you've got an extra special walk, let's like drop us an email, we'll work together to kind of add all of that brilliant information. And if you want to add information to other people's routes, because say you're a botanist and you know loads about plants, you can just give us feedback on a walking route and we can add that information.
Yeah, I was going to add to that as well that the website that's being created for Walkfest, and also the pages about the Bristol walks that we're going to host at Go Jauntly, but also Bristol are going to host on their end, they'll have extra information on the walks as well, so we can add information there as well. So yeah, the more information the better as far as we're concerned, so we can get more people inspired to get outside.
Hi, I've got a question, which is, I don't think I heard anything about the deadline for walks to be included in Bristol Walk Festival this year.
That's a good question, which Karen's probably best placed to answer.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. We've actually not determined that as yet, because we were waiting to hear what Boris had to say yesterday.
Yeah.
Try and get more of a sense of what we were inviting providers to offer.
Yeah.
We are discussing that this afternoon and hope to come back out to providers certainly by the end of this week at the latest, with clear guidance.
Great, thanks, Karen.
And I did see in the chat that Bob Reeves would actually like to ask a question, so I can invite Bob forward.
Thank you. Well done, everyone. I mean, things like this are fantastic, and my concern a little bit is that you are actually not starting something new here. You're building on the shoulders of giants. And what would concern me a little bit is that it looks like there might be the potential not to use or take advantage of the wealth of really good stuff that's already there. You know, I've got in my hand, for Brunel's 200th anniversary, were these walking guides produced, small walking guides, each with a theme, whether it be Brunel's Dockside. There was one on walking Clifton, one on Victorian Bristol, things like this. And they were free and they were fantastic. Loads of people had them around Bristol for several years. All of a sudden, I don't know if you can still get them, but it's almost like we're reinventing the wheel all the time.
Yeah.
Stuff that's already there.
Can I just interject on that one? So with most of our partners, we're actually digitizing the existing routes. So you're absolutely right. There's like loads of these leaflets that were made and then discontinued and now are really hard to find. So the idea is, like, if you've got an amazing route, such as those ones, re-upload those onto the Go Jauntly app. and then help other audiences find those walks and enjoy them as well. So we're not necessarily reinventing the wheel. We're providing a platform that you can add more content to help other people find and increase the reach of those walks, because, you know, like not everyone is going to have access to that leaflet. If there's some as a PDF, I really recommend that we get those up on the app as well. That's what we've been doing in Essex and Greater Manchester and other places like that. It's really about trying to increase our reach new audiences, and like you said, build on the shoulder of all these amazing walking giants and help make walking a pastime for everyone.
Can I just follow up on that then? That's fine. If you've already trialed this in other cities, what's the feedback been? Because it would be very good to know. For example, there are a lot of people, older people maybe, who walk and would sooner have a little hard copy than take their phone with them or take a laptop with them. You know, and you know, some people prefer hard books to Kindles, and so you know, have you got any feedback of that sort from experiments elsewhere?
Yeah, we've had mainly positive feedback actually around our platform and encouraging new audiences to walking. I think there is always a potential to include like a PDF version for people who potentially don't want to use an app or don't have a smartphone, and that's definitely something that could perhaps be included on the WalkFest site. But to be honest with you, I think the majority of people now have smartphones, and people are getting more and more confident with using smartphones and smartphone technology. So actually, I think one of the great things about Go Jauntly is that we're encouraging new and younger audiences as well to benefit from walking.
Hello. Sorry. Let's go to Roger, who's had his hand up for a while. Hi, Roger.
Hi, thanks. Yeah, I'm one of the members of the Bristol Walking Alliance, and one of the things that we do a lot is try to push for improvements to the walking environment, especially in the urban environment in Bristol. So I was wondering if people are doing urban walks, is there any way of them giving feedback about those walks? So for example, it might be something as simple as broken pavement, or it might be something about, you know, I really like to go along here, but the pavement is too narrow for my wheelchair, or, you know, those kind of feedback. Is that feedback that is put into the Go Jauntly app? Does it go just to you at Go Jauntly, or can it be fed back to the originator of the walk as well?
Presently, it's not fed back to the originator of the walk, but if there is an issue, say with like local flooding or a tree's fallen down, or for some reason the pathway's been blocked, we'll then either take that walk offline, we'll review it and audit it internally, and then we'll edit it ourselves. But in terms of like feedback going back to like local authorities and councils, with the project that we did with Norfolk County Council, we've included as part of the contract that if any feedback comes up on like rights of way or issues with like overgrown nettles on footpaths and things like that, we'll pass that straight to the environment team. In future, we're looking to kind of create like this interactive dashboard where any reports of potholes or things like that can go straight to the local council, but we haven't got there yet. Hopefully that answers your question.
Okay, and another quick question. For the WalkFest, is the idea that people create walks using Go Jauntly and then pass them on to Karen or Darren to be added to the WalkFest set, or should it be done the other way around?
It's a good question, and I think we need to work on the logistics after this. But I mean, what would be great is if you're interested in contributing to WalkFest and this, like if you get in touch with the team, and then we'll work together and provide you with specific instructions of like next steps. Because ideally what we need all of the usernames of the people who are creating walks for WalkFest, and then we can almost like ring fence them, make sure all of the walks are quality assured in time for this for the launch. We can make them all available to download offline free, and they could be included as part of the collections. But ultimately, yeah, it would be great to have like a bit of a dialogue about it, and hopefully we can galvanize lots of people to create lots of different types of routes, from step-free to accessible to street art to architectural tours, and create a really great online experience for people to enjoy walks whenever they can, like during the festival and beyond.
Okay.
Yeah, just to add to that as well, which linked into a question earlier as well about supporting people who are elderly and maybe not necessarily as fit as other people. One of the partnerships we did recently in Greater Manchester, we prioritised step-free routes, and over 50% of the walks that were created in that partnership were step-free. And the second most popular route that has been walked is one of the step-free routes, and we've had like a huge amount of positive feedback on that. So that's one of the ways that we're trying to make walks more inclusive. And like I said, when you're creating a walk, that's why we try to stress about kind of saying what you see, to make sure that people before they go on a walk can flick through the app and look at the different steps and have a greater awareness about whether a walk is going to be suitable for their needs and requirements, you know, as much as possible. Fraser, I think you had another question, or is your hand still up? I wasn't sure.
Oh, it's still, it was another question around the PDF thing. So if we've got PDFs of walks, then how does that actually end up appearing on the phone if we send you one and you load it up as a walk?
It's a good question. I think in most cases we would get someone to walk it basically, and then get the pictures of the different steps. That's what we've done elsewhere. So where, say, like local authorities have sent us, I don't know, a selection of PDFs that they'd like digitise, what we do in those cases is usually get one of our team on the ground to take pictures of the route and get all the information from the PDF into the app. So if you have PDFs like that, then send them to us, and then we'll work out who can do it from the Bristol end, basically. So if
so you're not actually displaying the PDF, you're actually recreating it again. So that's something you could do yourself anyway. So. Yeah,
true. But it's possible that we could like host some PDF links somewhere if there was like a massive need for that. But it was more about digitizing them. But yeah, if there is a big call for these routes to be, or you know, a certain number of these routes to be made available on a PDF, then that's something we could talk to Karen and Darren about hosting them somewhere.
Question. Hello.
Hi. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
If you're doing a walk for people, what is the insurance situation, public liability, and so on? Do you have to do it yourself?
Hannah, do you want to answer that?
Sorry, can you say that again, please?
If you are running a walk for other people,
yes,
what is the insurance situation?
So because it's not an event, I don't think there would you wouldn't need any sort of like public liability. It's I'll send you the terms and conditions and the privacy policy potentially after this, but basically it's at the user's own risk. And there are certain recommendations like the what we call the Jaunters Code, which is a bit like the Countryside Code, of things to do, like if basically road signs take prevalence over instructions on the app and things like that. So it's at your own risk.
Okay, thank you.
And just to say just quickly about the sort of like walks PDF, one of the other things we have within our sort of wider Travel West network is a walks page where we can actually sort of doing a mix then with Go Jauntly, that we have then the app, but we can also do PDF separate to that and a sort of separate section then on the page. So for those who want to use the app, they can use that. And if there are PDFs of walks, we can also actually have just PDFs uploaded onto that page and all as well. So just for those who just want to have like a PDF, if there's that available.
Yeah, I was just going to quickly respond to Ed's question around insurance. So with regard to Bristol Walk Fest, previously, basically what we were doing is providing a framework for providers to be able to promote their walks, and we would expect each walk or event provider to be covered by their own insurance. And those groups that didn't have insurance, they could speak to us, and we could potentially then look for a volunteer trained walk leader to walk with them to provide the insurance for them through the National Ramblers Walking for Health scheme, if that makes sense.
Great. Has anyone I don't think anyone's got any further questions, but shout now if you do.
Hello.
Oh, great. Hi.
Hi, I just wanted to ask a question around security. Because you use location sharing, if you were to use the app for vulnerable people, because you have the part in the app where it starts from your home, so are there any other organisations that can access that data with where you've been or where you are?
No. Okay. We use the location purely to give people the best experience of using the app, so that you can use those routes, you can have them tailored to your location. And if one thing I didn't actually mention when I was going through the routes for you is that if you change your location, if you move house, or let's say when you're allowed to travel again, your holiday home or whatever, if you've shared location with us, then it will create those routes from wherever you are. And you can also change the location at any point. Let's say you're going for a walk this weekend, even just locally, but it's like 20 minutes away and you're not sure, you can change your location and it will provide circular routes for you from that place as well. The only other way we use your location data is when we're providing anonymized data, so it won't have any information about you or your house or where you live or anything like that, about, say, like with Bristol. So when we're sharing with like Darron and Karen later on, like how successful these walks have been, which we hope will be amazing, it will just be information about how many people have walked a particular route, so we can know, you know, for the future what kind of walks people have really loved, and, you know, to try and bring more of those to the app and so on. But we won't share your personal data about Sophie's house or wherever that might be with anybody.
Okay, great, thank you.
Just building on that, Sophie, just to give you extra information, all of the location data is handled on device, so that's private to you. You can share your specific routes for you collection links with other people, so we kind of flag that and say, look, you're about to share this information, and if you do share the link will expire after 7 days, so there's no chance of it lingering anywhere.
Okay, great, thank you.
We are over on time. Does anyone need to jump off? Do you want another 5 minutes for questions, or is everyone done? I can stick around for a bit longer if it helps.
Ted Fowler's got a question.
I do apologise if you've answered this one before, but is information from this app available on an ordinary computer as well? So I mean, it's easier to work with and to read before you go out or afterwards. That's what I'm thinking, or maybe that's a development opportunity.
Yeah, that's definitely.
There's only so much peering on my. When I get home, I like to not use my smartphone sometimes.
Yeah, I understand that. At the moment, the experience, the user experience is best on app. You could also, if you have an Android tablet or an iPad, you can do it on those devices as well. Presently, we don't have it on a Mac or a PC, but in the future, that's something that we definitely like to look at.
I think people can download an Android emulator for doing stuff on their PC, where it's very clunky.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think Kerry had another question.
Got one more. Hiya. I was wondering, are you already in touch with sort of all of the walking groups in North Somerset? Like, have you marketed to them yet, or?
No.
Okay. Yeah,
no, it's been on our, you're on our radar. It's just that because we're a small team, there's like 3.5 of us, we've been sort of like slowly making our way across the UK. There's so much potential in the west of England to get more walks on the app, and we've been a bit limited because of COVID. Otherwise we would have been stomping the grounds last year, but yeah, definitely lots of potential.
Kerry, just to make you aware, I've been in contact with colleagues within both North Somerset and South Gloucestershire councils with a view to seeing if they were interested this year in extending the footprint for Walkfest, which by default would automatically almost engage them with the Go Jauntly app. And both councils quite understandably felt that probably timing just wasn't right to be looking at that this year. And I believe Darron's also spoken to colleagues within sustainable transport teams about this. Is that right?
Yeah, that's me for North Somerset. Yeah, so I'm very aware of it. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, sorry, it's me not knowing people. Okay.
No, of course. Yeah, you probably talking to Kyra.
Okay. I'm just sort of thinking, Hannah, we are sort of 12:15 now. So I know that you've put your email contact details in the chat. So I'm whether we suggest we sort of leave it there, but that's been amazingly helpful and informative. Is there anything either yourself or Claude or Hannah or Darren want to say as a sort of a wind up?
Well, just from my point of view, thanks so much for coming and all of your questions and comments. It's really lovely to hear how excited people are about using the app and how positive everyone has been, because we're so excited about working with Karen and Darren and all of you guys, because it's just been a really positive partnership, and it seems like Bristol has so much to give from a walking point of view, and we've been really sad that we haven't been able to visit so far and help create the walks, but hopefully we will be able to soon. Yeah, if you need to contact us, then hi@gojauntly.com. I know some people have been asking questions, which Hannah's done a great job at responding to, but yeah, get in touch with us that way, and you can follow us on Twitter or Instagram and Facebook and contact us on there as well if you have any questions.
No, that's it. I've put my contact information in the chat again. If you have any issues in terms of needing people to map walks, and just genuine, you just chat about some of the curated walks to get more content, yeah, please just get in contact with myself and we can see what we can do. Thank you very much as well to Claude and to Hannah and all as well. Brilliant job.
Huge thanks to Claude and Hannah, and thank you everybody for attending. It's great to see you, and we really look forward to seeing some fantastic walks coming through the system. So here's to happy walking.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.